Hi, I'm Dr. Quinn Denny, your work psychologist of iSight, your work psychology firm. Our goal is to create work happiness through evidence-based structures and frameworks, through leadership and great communication, as well as the ability to measure performance. And higher performance equates to increased profitability. Today, we're going to talk about the use of surveys. Surveys are a tool to gather a data set, get multiple perspectives from multiple people, and create actionable insights that drive our organization and our product or services forward, that create the kind of excellence we're looking for. We'll give you some scientific tips, and hopefully it will up your survey game, making your time and effort in surveys worthwhile. The first question and the most important thing to ask when going to gather data or designing a survey is to ask, why are we gathering this data? What data are we gathering? What will we do with it? It's important when creating a survey to group items together. Let's say we're going to measure customer service. We might have several categories or dimensions, or what we call constructs, of customer service. That might be measuring quality or excellent communication with team and clients or customers. It could be measuring whether a product was delivered on time. You get the idea. We want to break these out in categories because when we do the analytics on the backside, we can actually create actionable streams against those particular categories and set quality goals around them, which are highly motivating. Avoid affective content. Effective content is emotional content. So when stating items that we want rated or asking questions that we want rated, we want to avoid any kind of emotional words that would steer the respondent or the participant. And this is particularly true of what we call socially desirable items. These are items that are either esteemed in society or disapproved of. If we were asking medical questions, we might want to be very aware of that. Courage is a great example. I studied a lot of courage. Having a statement that says, I believe myself to be cowardly, is an emotional valenced item, because not many people are going to want to say, I feel or believe myself to be cowardly. A better way to do that, if I was measuring, say, physical courage, is to say, I would save someone from drowning. I might have a scale on one side that says very or not likely, and then on the other side, very likely. So 5 would be very likely, a 1 would be not likely. That's a better way to gather more accurate data. Also with scales, make sure that numerically they follow the same format. That means in each scale, if we're using a 1 to 5, keep it at a 1 to 5 with 1 on the left and 5 on the right, or 5 on the left and 1 on the right. And if you do have to switch scales during a survey, include some brief instructions. Let the participant or respondent know that the scale is switching and how they're supposed to fill it out. On that scale, make sure that you're measuring the same dimension. So what we don't want to do is have something like a 1 on the left that says very likely, and on the other side, near the 5 on the right side, is labeled frequently. Those are two different dimensions. So we want to make sure that we're using spectrums that are the opposite of each other, but they're in the same dimension. Recognize the difference between quantitative and qualitative data. Quantitative data gathered is where a respondent will respond to a scale. So they give us a score, a 1 to 5. Qualitative data is most common to open fields. Open fields allow the respondent or the participant to enter or type in data or thoughts or feelings, attitudes, beliefs, those kinds of things. They're both valuable. Avoid double-barreled items. And what that looks like is I ask the respondent to rate something on the same scale. So I've got one scale of a 1 to 6 with maybe not likely to very likely, but I ask 2 questions in that item. I might say something like, I feel cowardly and I feel courageous. Those are 2 different things. They can't measure how courageous they feel and how cowardly they feel on that same rating scale. So ask one question or make one statement in one dimension per item. That'll avoid that pitfall. Setting context is important. So it's important to lay out for the responder or the participant what the purpose of the survey is. What do we intend to do with the data? And what are we going to do in response to the data? How are they helping us? What's the purpose of the survey? It drives up motivation and engagement. Also, letting the respondent know how long the survey takes on average is helpful as well. That keeps them engaged. They can plan accordingly when they want to take the survey. Confidentiality and anonymity are also very important. is particularly if it's one of those socially desirable factors that we're talking about, for instance, courage or something medical. It's good to let the respondent know that in no way will their individualized data be tracked back to them. We're more likely to get honest responses. And then analytics. After taking the survey, it's important to have the technology in the backside or in the infrastructure in such a way that that can be exported to some kind of a spreadsheet, and we can run descriptive or basic statistics against it, like averages and ranges and things of that nature, so that we can actually take action on the data. When we're doing qualitative data, it's important to follow that same effective rule for emotions. So asking a question like, what are we doing great, without a question of what could we improve on, doesn't give the respondent the ability to give open-ended items properly. One of the things that I like to ask at the end of a survey is there anything you would like to share? That's very open-ended. It allows for improvement feedback. It allows us to get reinforcement on what we're doing well. It also allows for this concept of presenting ideas. It might give us a new idea for our product or services or an entirely new vertical, which is extremely exciting and valuable. Lastly, take action. It's very important to take action on a survey, particularly when we presented transparently the purpose of the survey. It lets respondents know that their opinions, the way they score and provide that qualitative feedback, is going to go somewhere. It has a meaning and a purpose. They can begin to see the results of their contribution. I think these scientific tips will help you to drive up the reliability, the validity, and most importantly, the usefulness of surveys that you create inside your organization. I'm Dr. Quinn Denny. Thanks for spending time with me. We're your work psychology firm. We're cheering you on out there. Take care.